Yeah, it's not happening. What's up, everybody? Paul Garrison here. Welcome back to the channel. So the other day we got some pretty good snow and it's been really cold, so I've been inside, but I like to look out the window. It's quite nice. And I see all these animal tracks. Now, obviously I want to go outside and I want to take some photos, but it's cold. Gotta have a purpose, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot a product photo for one of my favorite energy drinks. This video is not sponsored by Cliff, but this is the Octane Elk Blood Spicy Cherry. It's one of my favorite drinks. It's clean, tastes great. Joe Rogan and Haines collaboration. It's a great flavor. That little, it's almost like cherry pop rocks in your mouth. And I've always wanted to shoot something with Cliff, as far as just being a fan. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use the outside environment, the natural light, and why don't we get to it? Whew. Okay, so real quick, just so you know, like I'm not exaggerating here, the outdoor temperature right now is 17.4 degrees. There's usually a little bit of a differential because some of the ambient heat from the house. So we're probably looking at 15, 14 degrees outside. It's already well below freezing. Hopefully it's not windy. We got our drink, red food coloring. Got my strap for my camera because I'm literally going out to do this as quickly as possible and then come right back in. It is cold. Okay, we're gonna have the ISO shift right here and boom, automatic ISO. Let's find some tracks. These look like some deer tracks. It's like they came up this way and darted this way. They've been hanging out at this tree right here. So here's what I want. I want some tracks. Jeez. They're like running together. Almost looks like a bear claw. I'm thinking I want a little bit of shadow. And we got rabbits and squirrels here. Got all kinds of tracks. That is definitely a hoof. So I see like these branches here. We got some track action there. They're not clean, but I'm not really worried about it. We want to get this guy propped up right here. Let's take a look through the viewfinder. And we'll bring down 5.6. I like it. Okay. Honestly, I'm thinking the 100mm macro may be better for this, but we're gonna food color this thing, make it look like something died. Oh, got it on the can. You know what? Adds character. Here we go. Oh, this is a bloody mess. I hope the folks over at Cliff appreciate this. Stay out of the shadow. I think we got some good shots. Let's go get warm. Oh my God. It's like frozen. Cliff does say to enjoy best when chilled. So hopefully this chilled it out enough. I'm cold. Oh, we're dripping blood everywhere. This is so good. Peter's gonna think something actually got killed. I love it. It is cold out there. Take the boots off, back into some slippers. Let's sit down to edit some photos. All right, so I know I'm not the best YouTuber, and sometimes I forget to walk you through the things that are going on in my brain and what I'm doing, especially when I'm shooting, because I'm concentrating on trying to make the best image possible. What I wanted to run you through before we get into the edit, Canon R7, 24-70, and I have the Peter McKinnon variable ND CPL filter. The variable ND filter is like sunglasses for your camera, so you can typically use a pretty low shutter speed. With that harsh light and the snow, it's just like real bright, so I decided to cut it down. I think I was only on setting 6. I didn't want to completely darken it all the way out. My shutter speed at 125, so I could kind of take some of the hand jitters out. You take a picture and you don't know why it's like not tack sharp, probably because maybe the shutter speed's a little low and it picks up some of those micro jitters in your hands. Aperture set to 5.6 and ISO 800 because that's the native ISO and I felt that it was best for that situation. Where did I take pictures of yesterday? That's a client project. You're not allowed to see that. Actually, it doesn't matter. What's today's date? Today's the 22nd, so 01/22/25. Whoa, whoa, whoa. How did I lock myself out? 25, and we'll just call this Kill Cliff Blood. You know what? I gotta be sharp. Oh. There's a good chance that there's food coloring everywhere now. Yep. Got everywhere. Feel shame. Right off the bat, I got a sun streak right down the center of the camera, or center of the can. It's okay. I think we can work with that. I ask myself, what am I gonna do with this photo? Is this something that I'm gonna print, put on my wall, or is it just something I'm gonna post on social? This is gonna be something for social. So what's the best aspect ratio for, say, Instagram? For a photo, it's 5:4. Oh, I'm sorry, 4:5. Then, using the rule of thirds, if you don't know what the rule of thirds is, you should be following me on Instagram. Posted a pretty good reel explaining it with my buddy Frank. If you don't know Frank, it's your loss. I have this set to golden ratio. And then you know what I might do a little bit? Let's rotate just a little bit. Now let's take a look at what that looks like. Oh, kind of makes you tilt your head and look, huh? This is a good place to start with. So first off, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a pin right here in my curves. It's something I learned in color grading footage. You wanna find middle gray. That's kind of middle gray, a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this up just a little bit, and then I'm gonna pull this sucker down. Pull it down drastic. Things get a little wonky. I'm gonna rein in that top end a little bit, just a touch. Now this is where we're gonna play a little bit. Some of you may not agree with my editing habits. I like to slide everything. I'd like to try it all and see where it goes, right? Rolling back about, 20 years ago, I wanted to be an audio engineer, and the one thing that I learned was with like an EQ, you kind of have to play with all the frequencies and see what you get, and is there any harsh frequencies that you can take out? So I apply the same mindset to editing, where push things to where they break, and then I pull them back to where they don't look broken anymore. And sometimes I get a cool, aggressive look, and sometimes I know, like, oh, this is where I want to soften up. That's my process. Judge me if you will. It may not be correct, but what is? Who's to know? Right, Ed? Bring the blacks up a little bit and see what that gives us. Let's bring them all the way down. Ooh, dark and moody. Dark and moody. Yeah, we want those whites to stay pretty white. So let's put that around 30. And then shadows. We're gonna lift the shadows a little bit on that. I'm gonna do that to about a 30 spot as well. The reason why I wanna do that is because I do wanna see kind of the full thing, but let's see what happens with the highlights. So if I drag the highlights all the way down, the CPL filter wasn't enough to pull that all the way out. Now that if I pull the highlights out of this area, I know that I can make it manageable. So for the rest of the image, I want the highlights. We'll just call this a 30 for 30. I'm just gonna keep that right at 30. I like where that is. Contrast, let's see what happens when we do contrast. Oh boy, things are getting wild. Make this a nighttime scene, right? Do it like this, and then we cool this sucker off. Ooh, instant nighttime. I don't know if you can tell here, but make it look like a night scene by dropping down your temperature and dropping your exposure a little bit. It's a little video parlor trick. I think I did a reel on that too, or a short. We're gonna come down into color and let's look at the temperature. We can warm it up if we want, make this thing look like an early morning, or we can cool this sucker off. We're at 6,000. I think right there at about 5,000. What does 5,600 look like? Honestly, 56 doesn't look that bad at all. So is there anything pissing me off? Let's look at this orange here. Yeah, we're gonna make the orange just a little more red. It is red, but for certain details, they went with like a little softer. So we're just gonna make that a little deeper. I don't wanna go too much. Let's bring the luminance down on that red a little, just a tad, a little -6 action. I like the way that's looking. I don't like the fact that I have my fingerprints all over it. I didn't touch contrast back in the light section because I do like to apply some dehazing, brings in some nice contrast that feels a little more realistic without going crazy. I mean, yes, I can make this thing look nuts.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Just like that, by pinning it. But I like to see, I like the way that looks. I like it. Now we're gonna come down to detail. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold down Option, and I'm gonna slide the masking all the way over to 100. And the reason why I do that, I just want to see certain lines, certain things to be sharpened. Then I'm going to go Detail, 100, and my radius, I'll go here, drop the sharpening down to 30. Now I jump around. Yes, there are some times where I desaturate, I boost vibrance, I lower vibrance. Sometimes I have to change the tint, you know, green to magenta. Sometimes I play with the RGB in the curves. In this particular instance, I kind of like what I'm getting with this image. So then it's time to do masking. I'm Batman. Not really, I'm not Batman. I'm gonna use a radial gradient. Boom, I'm gonna raise this up. Like this. And then I'm gonna crunch this in. So what I'm gonna do, can't drop the exposure, I'm gonna drop that highlight down all the way. Let's take on, off, on, off. Now what we're gonna do is I'm going to create a much bigger radial gradient that is going to stretch just beyond the can. And we're gonna make that really soft. Because then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to subtract the subject, which will be the can. And this is where I'm gonna go negative on the dehaze, right? I'm gonna add this little bit of separation. You don't wanna go too much. Because when you go too high, it looks unnatural. All about taste, really. And it's like, as long as it's not distracting to the eye and pulls people's focus to, oh my God, where's that light coming from, right? Here's where we're gonna get creative. So I'm gonna bring in a radial gradient. Let's see what happens when we pull down that exposure. I don't really like that. Let's pull that over this way. Bring it to about half the can. So what I'm doing is I'm putting this linear gradient this way. Now I'm bringing the exposure down. This is the centerpiece. Just kind of want, yes, we know that it's white, there's daylight. I just want to bring your eye straight into it. Play with the subject a little bit. So we'll go on the can, go on that clarity a little bit. Let's just bring the clarity at about 25. That brings us, I'll lift the shadow just about. Oh yeah, look at that. It kind of just pops off the screen now.
Pop, 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 pop.
So what we're doing with these masks, we're kind of creating our own little vignette that just obviously this can is slicing this photo down the middle. Obviously it's where the eye's gonna go. We really wanna focus in on it. So since we're gonna jack that clarity up a little bit, we'll bring up the vibrance of Scotch. I don't know, I think I kind of like it. I don't like my fingerprints on it. I should have been thinking about that. I mean, using the food coloring for a blood is pretty awesome. You got to see the whole process, the idea, the going and doing it, and the edit. I'm gonna post this on Instagram, tag Killcliff. If they want to sponsor, I'm all about it. No, but seriously, love Killcliff, can't recommend them enough. Their flavors are great. I don't feel a crash. Good stuff, so check them out. Proceeds do go to the Navy SEAL Foundation. That's an important foundation to support because of all the Gold Star families. The Navy SEAL Foundation helps support them. If you're looking for a healthier choice to Red Bull, go with Killcliff because it's better and you're supporting a good cause. With that being said, I'm out. I'm gonna go edit this video now. Love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.